Hello again, everybody, and welcome to the Mike Francesa podcast on the Bet Rivers Network, brought to you by Casamigos Tequila. Casamigos Tequila is brought to you by those who drink it. We come to you on this Monday on the Mike Francesa channel on the Bet Rivers Network on YouTube after another busy NFL weekend, one that was impressive in some cities and then just more of the same in others. Obviously we're in the more of the same category here in New York. Down in Philly they are pounding their chests. In Detroit they are ready for a coronation, and happy in a couple other cities too, as we go across the country here and head down the stretch, head towards Thanksgiving and the stretch drive of this NFL season. Every team always after Thanksgiving puts it in overdrive. That's it. If you're a team that is still in it, if a team that has playoff aspirations, divisional championship aspirations, maybe even loftier aspirations, you put the pedal to the metal and realize that everything, every thought, every minute, every ounce goes into what is left in this season. If you're one of the other teams, then you try to figure out exactly what the message is. And for the Giants, it has been a very tumultuous last 24 hours. A terrible performance, a performance they did not expect. They were hoping for, at least as they make a regime change at quarterback, they were hoping for at least a little bit of a spark. They got nothing, and they were embarrassed by Tampa, ridiculed by their quarterback. And then after the game, Daboll had to deal with having his players just repeatedly throw the team's effort and his leadership under the bus. I was in the car, and I'm still a little numb because I was at the dentist today. I was driving to the dentist when Daboll was on, and I heard his Q&A with the media, and he was not in any way defiant. He was trying to be very accommodating, even to the guys who have given him a hard time, um, who were asking questions. But he was trying to put a very rosy picture, and he still clearly had the sound of a guy who knows he has this job, and he does, folks. And that's how he sounded. That's how the general manager sounds every time he speaks. That's how Dable still sounds. He sounds like a guy who is not worried about his job. And what I would say about that is the Giants don't want to make a change here. They want to show some stability. They want to give these guys, and they probably promised these guys a chance to pick their own quarterback. But that does not mean things can't change. And more days like yesterday, and more embarrassing moments, and a million empty seats, and then a bad performance against a struggling team that is a hated rival on Thanksgiving could have a big impact. This is a big couple of days for Daboll. I think even bigger than he knows. Because while he sounds confident, hey, my players and I are on the same page. We have a dialogue. I'm confident that I haven't lost the room, all that stuff. When clearly the evidence is completely to the contrary. Clearly there were plays yesterday where they didn't hustle. Go look at the play. Go look at the play where Irving makes the big run where you have Mayfield blocking. Go look at that play and check out every player, including a couple of their linebackers on that play, and tell me they hustled. You have clear evidence of that, and then you have a first-round draft pick who has dropped the ball a lot on his own, who basically is defiant in his criticism of the coach. And the coach today says, well, you got to understand, he's competitive. You got to understand, we have a great relationship. That guy is a rookie. You're taking that from a rookie player. How can you actually go in that locker room and expect to command any veteran player when you won't even chastise the rookie players? He is a rookie. You can't take that from. I don't care how talented he is. He has no resume. He's done nothing in his career to now. And you are going to, as a head coach, take that kind of verbal abuse from him in the locker room on a day where he actually dropped a couple of balls and dropped the first down play. You know what? That should have been his answer. You know what? I'd worry about myself and make sure I secure the balls that are thrown my way. I'd worry about the balls that are thrown my way and not worry about when they're thrown your way. And he's like, hey, they didn't throw me the ball to the third quarter. Go ask Dabs, whatever he called him. Go ask him why. This is a rookie who has half a year under his belt. And he's basically spitting in your face and you're taking it. What future do you possibly have with the franchise that way? It's unbelievable. And then he actually stated, I'm not worried about what the veteran players say. It's frustrating for all of us. He actually said, I am not worried about what the veteran players or the assistants say. Can you now? I understand that I've passed through a different era. I understand that I spent a lot of time around a different type of coach. But those assistants weren't even allowed to speak, no less criticize. Are you serious? Criticize? Are your bags would be in the street. I mean, someone asked me today, hey, what would this coach have done? Don't even fill in the blank. If a player had said that, I said, it's inconceivable. It's not even conceivable. The player that would never cross the player's mind. Never. And I'm not just talking about Parcells. I can fill in the blank and put 15 coaches I've known on that line. And the players would not have even considered it, no less done it. But they're going down to Dallas now. And they're going to play a team that has kicked their rear end or found a way to beat them time after time after time after time. They're going to represent this franchise at 2-9. They have not had a lead in 6 games, and they're playing a Dallas team that is terrible. That won a game yesterday, yes, but is terrible with a backup quarterback, with a banged up team that, yes, got a little healthier yesterday. And right now, I can see Parsons just, teeing off play after play. And why wouldn't you blitz DeVito one time after another time? At one point in the game, Bowles had blitzed 78% of the plays. Why? You don't even have to disguise the blitz. He's going down. That's all there is to it. If the offensive line doesn't get him, then his own judgment gets him, or his inability to understand how to get away from the rush or get rid of the ball quickly enough. He gets sacked an insane amount of time. They go down there as everybody settles in and has to, try to digest their food. Because a lot of people eat midday on Thanksgiving. Try to digest their food by watching this game, which could be tough. It could be just an absolute recipe for indigestion. But be that as it may, if they go down there on national television against a division opponent who has absolutely dominated them, that is this division opponent, and gets embarrassed, then I think all bets are off. I understand that they still sound like a general manager and a coach who know they're coming back. Every indication are they are coming back. I think that Giants want stability. I also think they may not want to get caught up in everything that would happen if they had a coaching vacancy, and I think everyone understands what that means. The bottom line is, though, there's only so many times you can allow the franchise to be dragged through the mud. Yesterday, they were embarrassed. All we have seen time and time again is a mass exodus out of their stadium in the third quarter, where it's become almost a ritual for the fans to leave in droves in the third quarter of the game. Now, if they're playing the hated Cowboys on Thanksgiving in a game that obviously is about next year for both franchises, played with backup quarterbacks, and a referendum on coaches who could be headed out the door. Theirs probably is. The giant one, as we said, is not yet. This game could change all that. I don't know how many times you can push that envelope and get away with it. Did he sound like a coach again today that knew he was still in command of his job? He did. He didn't sound convincing, but he didn't sound worried. He didn't sound like a guy who knows he's at the brink of losing his job. He was. I looked at the tape. We were fine. I looked at the. I looked at the game. We gave effort, which is not true. They gave some effort. No one said they didn't give effort on every play, but there were plays that they took off. We can show. Anyone can show him chapter and verse of plays. But check out the run, and check out a couple of, especially one of the linebackers on that run, and tell me there's an effort there. We can find plays where there was no effort. And when you have your top players telling you that the team is not giving an effort, hey, that has to be taken seriously. And remember, there's a lot that went on in this team last year that divided this clubhouse with a popular defensive coordinator who no one's saying wasn't at least partially, if not more than partially, to blame for this. But there's two sides to every story. And things started there. This is not like this all just began in the last couple of weeks. But you watch the GM in his State of the Union about 2 weeks ago say, "Well, close. Close to what? What exactly would you be close to right now? Close to the number one pick? Yes. Close to the worst record in the league? Yes. Close to playing the final couple of games over the holidays with nobody in the ballpark? Yes. Close to anything else? No. Close to what? Tampa came in yesterday, ranked, I think, 30th or 31st against the pass, having lost 4 games in a row with a beat-up squad, and buried you on both sides of the ball. Led 23-0, led 30-0 in the third quarter, ran the ball for first downs at will, threw the ball for first downs at will, stopped you cold defensively, blitzed at will, and then just made fun of you at will, disrespected you at will. And they came in with a losing record. They needed a victory. They had lost 4 in a row. Now here comes Dallas with Cooper Rush and with half a defense. And if they do the same thing, like I said, there's only so many times you can drag the uniform through the mud and get away with it. There is a point of no return for even the most patient of owners. An owner who doesn't want to make another move, an owner who doesn't want to get caught up in a storm. So this tandem does not sound like they're out of chances yet. I agree with that. They don't sound like they are. But that doesn't mean that it can't happen. It can still happen. Now the Jets will get back into action this week to take some of the heat off the Giants. That's the most important thing that these two teams do is they both are so laughable that they take the pressure off the other one. So like when their Jets are off, the Giants are like, well, wait a second, this spotlight's all on us, man. That's a little hot. Now come back, and let's get some nonsense started so that you at least share this nonsense with us. Now, the latest episode has Rex Ryan politicking for the job, which isn't going to happen. But wait a second. Another blast for the past as Mr. T, who had success, some success with the Jets. His 33rd team, which he has developed, that website, which I've talked to you about at times in the past, will be involved in playing an advisory role of some sort. I don't know the magnitude of. I have not spoken to Mr. T. I intend to, but I haven't. Woody is going to fall back on Mr. T and Rick Spielman for counsel on who should be interviewed, who should be looked at as far as general manager and coaching candidates going forward. So that is the latest chapter today. Now, I don't know what Woody wants to do or what the recommendation is with Rodgers. You know my feeling about the situation. I want Rodgers, the quarterback, to return. I don't really care if he plays a lot this year. We all know, or anyone who's watched football knows that he's been playing hurt. We all know that. Which is one of the reasons, that and the ineptitude of the offensive line and the construct of the offensive line are the reasons why that he has not been throwing the ball down the field. I mean, he clearly is injured. We've talked about that for weeks on end now. So him going to the IR in his case would probably be a blessing. The season's over. He clearly has got an injury. I don't know, maybe he'll open up to us and tell us what his injury is then, because we all know he has one. Whether it's a hamstring or it's a knee or it's some kind of hip injury or some kind of ankle or or calf or whatever it may be. I don't know, but it's clearly restricted his throwing. But you get the idea that he won't be here next year, that he's eyeing an NFC team. He has no intention, supposedly, of retiring, and that's what you hear from people who are close to him. I don't know if that's true or not. We'll have to wait and see. But once you've done that, then You have to radically change your whole approach to next season with this team, which is not a team that needs to be destroyed next year if it was put in the right hands, and especially in the right coaching hands. I don't think I don't think that's probably even a possibility because all that would take a deft touch, and the idea of this franchise having a deft touch is just virtually non-existent. There's just there's just no way it's going to happen. But hey, stay tuned. But the idea, the guys who want to pin that on pin everything on Rodgers, hey, like I told you, if he finished the season with just the numbers he has now and just put them over the next six games, he'd have one of the top seasons that Jet quarterback ever had. And that's not even a decent year for him. Now, a couple of things here before I get to a couple of emails. Check out the all new prop packs exclusively at the Bet Rivers. At Bet Rivers, place a qualifying NBA same game parlay, and you receive a prop pack. You'll earn extra rewards from your player cards based on the number of points that the player scores. You can open rare cards that have a top prize of $10,000 in bonus credits. Terms and conditions apply. See the Bet Rivers app for full details. Tear into the action. We have the newsletter that they're going to put forward here. Go to Mike Francesa Podcast for that, MikeFrancesAPodcast.com for that. Check it out. And of course, you go to Mike Francesa Podcast at gmail.com for emails. Let's see what's on your mind today. I haven't looked at them yet. Again, it's Mike Francesa Podcast at gmail.com. Bradley, who do you think Nix will be a star, and who does he remind you of? Remember at the start of the year, I told you I thought Nix was going to be a good player. I don't think he's ever going to have a great arm. He doesn't have a great arm, but he has the chance to be a very solid quarterback. Now, it has become very fashionable to compare him to Drew Brees. That is very high praise. And that's not fair yet because Drew Brees was superb at what he did. But this guy knows how to run a team, and he's in the right place, behind the right line, with the right quarterback. I mean, with the right quarterback coach and the right coach. And that's why they're winning. And he, not Daniels, could be the offensive player of the year, rookie offensive player of the year. He's really doing a good job. I did like him. I told you I thought he was going to be but I thought a big part of it was I don't think he would have worked unless he was with Sean Payton. I don't think that kind of quarterback, because other coaches would have demanded that he do other things than what he was capable of doing. Sean played to his strengths and built the offense around his abilities, his positives, not his negatives. And that's a huge part of coaching that is often overlooked. Coaches will make the quarterback jump through the hoops, even when he can't jump through the hoops, but he can do this magic trick over here. And that's Nix. Nix isn't going to isn't going to throw frozen ropes. He's not going to make the throw that Daniels is going to make on a Hail Mary. But he's going to win a lot of games, and he's going to play smart inside the offense. And he's already done that a lot. Paul, who is the best defensive player out of the following? Bruce Smith, Reggie White, Deacon Jones, Lawrence Taylor. All right, I'll give them to you one, two, three, four. Here you go. Lawrence Taylor, one. Deacon Jones, who was one of the great players of all time, two. Reggie White, three. All three of them, all timers. Bruce Smith, four, but not on the level of the first three players. So LT1, greatest defensive player of all time, changed the game. Deacon Jones, right behind him. Deacon Jones, great player. Buck Buchanan, great player. I mean, guys from that era, Bob Lilly, great player. Um, Reggie White, tremendous player. Bruce Smith, less than those other threes. Those other three were just all time greats. Bruce was really good and very talented, but not in that class with the other three players. Chris, do you think the Giants made a mistake forcing Eli into retirement? Uh, um, I don't think. Listen, that whole thing was handled terribly, but Eli had a very long, distinguished career that has left him in terrific stead. He has segued into a tremendous after football life, and I think there's a Hall of Fame bust coming for him. So that'll be the final coup de grace, and he deserves that. So I think Eli's had a great life and a great career, and luckily a great family and everything else. So he's been very, very good for him. It really has. Um, uh, Joe, do you think that the success of Barkley and McKinney uh, make David and make the GM and the coach look worse? Well, the sure don't make them look better, but I understand what he did with Saquon. Saquon was not going to have that year behind the Giant line on the Giant offense. He would have had another year like he has had in the past. He went to a team that was perfect for him. He went behind a incredibly physical, talented offensive line that you saw it last night. I mean, the Eagles were dominant on both lines. And right now, they stand as we hit Thanksgiving as the only team in my mind in the NFC that can stop the Lions. I don't think the Vikings can. I don't think the Packers can. I like the Packers' chances more than the Vikings. Why? Because of their running game and because of the high level their quarterback can reach, although he's been mistake prone this year, and because they have some chance on defense on a great day. Not a consistent day, but a great day. But the Eagles have the best chance. But is it good when you lose players like that? No, it's not good. Is this haunted John Murray? Yes. The whole thing. See, the worst thing that can happen is when you have a really talented running back, you're not going to build a team around him because that's not how it works now. And when you get pushed into that regard because of his ability, it makes it tough. But like I said, Barkley wouldn't have had that year behind the Giant line and in the Giant offense. He has that year because he's in the Eagle offense and behind the Eagle line and lined up with the Eagle players. I mean, the Eagles last night against the Rams showed you. I mean, they manhandled the Rams on both sides of the ball. And let me listen, their defensive line has gotten it's really elevated again. The kid from Georgia's become an absolute force. And now they're really getting they're unloading some pass rushes again. And the Rams can kill you with that offense, but they couldn't keep the quarterback upright last night. And then on defense, They didn't have a chance. Barkley was getting 10 yards down the field before he was getting touched. Sometimes he was going 70 yards without ever getting touched. It's a nice way to play. It really is. It just makes it a headache for the Giants, even though I don't quibble with how they handled the running back because he wasn't a secret to their success. It's not how it works. It's just another bruise for a team that has a lot of bruises now, a lot of welts, a lot of scars, a lot of bandages. We'll see you later.